But my questions are over.
Okay, we are finally at the point where this is a thing we can do, Peya, because now I get to like say, look, the book's here. It's a I feel like Pinocchio. It's a book. It's a real book. Oh my gosh. So this is Peya Robbins, for those who don't know, behind the scenes maestro of everything that needs to happen in my business. We just passed 5 years, almost. We're working on 5.5 years of working together. And boy, Peya, you have seen you have seen my business
Everything.
turn and grow. But here we are talking about the launch of my fourth book, which is called Launch Your Book, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Reviews That Drive Revenue. And I've asked you to come here and pepper me with questions so we can give people a little behind the scenes of how this is going.
Yep. So first, thanks for asking me to do this. And I said yes right away. So growth in our 5.5 years of working together. I did not hesitate. So let's just jump right in. I'm so proud of you. And this is the third book. I was only not there for the first book.
Mm. It's
So,
way back in
sure.
2017. So
Right.
this is 3 books since 21. This is like not how I thought life was going to happen for me. So that's 3 books in 4 years.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's like
Wow.
my moving cadence. Okay, so let's start. How has the launch of Launch Your Book been going for you so far?
Well, it is a little meta because this time it's a book about book launches. It's a book about how to get reviews on a book and the launch process to get reviews in a book. So it does feel like there's a little more pressure to do everything right. And to err is human, but to truly F up, you need a computer. And earlier this week, I will say that I sent out an email to a lot of people, and there was a hyperlink that was not the whole code, and there was a period at the end of it. And so there was a mistake made because that was a broken link. And I had to resend, not to everyone. I have partly what I've been doing is like set a lot of segmentation, a lot of manual segmentation. But other than that little snafu, I feel like it's going pretty well. People have been really responsive to joining the launch team. It's been a slightly different crew of people than my other work. Like my last book had more people in the launch team, but it was about Zoom at a point where people really felt like they needed it. And I think for this book, what's hard, Peya, is that people don't quite know if they need to know about how to launch their book. Like they might think they kind of got it already. So I am closing the gap between the problem they think they have and the problem I know they have. And those who have been reading it have enjoyed it. So it's been going well on that front. And, I have the paperback files all set and done. I have to like read through this one more time. This will be out in time for the actual launch day. So July 8th is the launch day and July 9th is the launch party. And the ebook version I also got yesterday, and I'm just kind of reviewing and testing. And that will be published next week for my launch team to go and write their reviews and publish them.
Awesome. Awesome. Um, you mentioned some dates. Can you walk us through your launch timeline and how you came about planning it?
Yeah, so the first phase is to build a launch team, and that is a combination of figuring out who to invite to the launch team and getting them to say yes. And so that process, I mean, I put up the launch form at the end of the end of January, while I was very much still in the thick of writing the book. I didn't do a lot with it for about 2 months. The first 25 people who joined were people who were kind of in the know about what I was doing. And I would say about 6 weeks ago, I really like kicked into high gear to start building a robust launch team, getting people to opt in. The second phase is where we are right now, which is I've given everyone the advanced reader copy. Officially, it went out, I guess, Thursday of last week. And I'm asking them to read over the advanced reader copy PDF. And I gave them some prompts to help them write a 2 or 3 sentence Amazon review. And so what I've asked them to do is submit that to me via a Google form before the book is published. So that's the phase we're in now. And then next will be in phase 3, which will be after, I guess, the week of the 23rd. That's when we'll be in the soft launch, where The book will be available, but only really the launch team will know about it. I'll be telling them all about it. And if you want to know about that, you can get on my launch team, robbiesamuels.com/launch team. It's not really too late yet. You still have, like 10 days to kind of do some of these steps. And then we have phase 4, which is the launch day and the launch party. And then phase 5 is really ongoing momentum and business growth that comes off the launch, because we really can't forget that last piece. The two most important pieces of this, I would say, would be the right invite list and having a plan for doing the follow-up. So, and I write about all of this in the book. Like, I'm literally giving away the recipe that I'm using for this.
Right. And in your book, you talk about aiming for 50 plus reviews. How close are you right now to that goal?
That's the nice thing about these early reviews. On sort of a more emotional level, I just want to say thank you to the people who have already started sending in their reviews, because those, especially the first like dozen that come in, you're getting ready as an author to release your book out into the wild, and you don't know how it's going to be received. You've been working really, really hard on it. I know that's true for me. I was working really, really hard on it.
Yeah.
And the people who are writing reviews now are not looking at anyone else's review when they write theirs. Like everyone has their own advanced reader copy, and they're writing their own review and sending it in to me. And so they have a different feel than later, when like there's a lot of them, and it kind of boosts your spirits. I think I've got like 34 or 35 reviews that have come in so far. So I have full confidence I'll pass that 50, but I have a goal of getting 150, 200. So I have a launch team of about 400, and usually a third to half will take action in the amount of time you're hoping for. So my goal is to have all those reviews up by July 8th. And so I guess part of my hope is that, because my launch team is filled with people who understand, after reading the book, the importance of this process, that there'll be even higher compliance, and I'll hit 50% or more, and we'll have 200 or more people who have taken action to get their review up before I make a really big public pronouncement on July 8th, and then have the launch party on July 9th. And actually, Dory Clark's going to be kicking off my launch party, longtime friend, mentor, and sometimes coach, who is the person who asked me in October of 21, why are you not a book launch coach? And that kind of kicked this whole process off. And here we are, not too long after, in 2025, in June. And here I am, got a whole book on the process that I've created. So she'll be there, plus three of my clients: Lois Kramer, Sophie Lechner, and Stacy Larson will all be there as well. So we'll have prizes. It'll be fun. So more information, we'll make sure, comment here if you want to come to the party, and I'll make sure you get the details. So yeah, I think I answered your question.
Yes. Yes. So more than halfway there, like 30,
Well, I'm
38,
halfway to
you
the
said
50
30?
plus, but for me,
Yeah.
I of course set myself like
Right.
a higher standard. So
Of course.
I'm not quite halfway. I'd like to be further, but really, people have had the advanced reader copy for only not even a
Couple
week,
days.
and
Yeah.
I mostly told them that starting this past Monday, 2 days ago, was when they were starting to share their reviews with me.
Right.
So I appreciate the people who are like fast on getting those things happening. I think if you want people to like you, say yes to the things that you are willing to do. Do it without being reminded. Like,
Yeah.
boom, like everyone's gonna like you.
What kind of feedback are you hearing from launch team
Ooh, I had
members so
2
far?
reviews that I wanna share with you, that felt, like, extra special, I think, because of who they came from. So one is David Newman, who is, multi-time author, including a book called Do It Marketing and another book called Do It Selling. And so this guy, David, knows a lot about a lot of things in this space. He's part of the National Speakers Association, really nice guy. And he wrote, Robbie Samuels has written the book I wish existed before my first book launch in 2013. Launch your book isn't theory, fluff, or recycled marketing advice. It's a strategic, tactical, results driven roadmap written by someone who's actually done the work for himself and for dozens of other nonfiction business authors. Most books on book marketing either oversimplify the process or overwhelm you with 1,000 disconnected tactics. Robbie gives you a proven start to finish framework built around what actually matters: Amazon reviews, launch team momentum, relationship capital, and turning your book into a business, not just a business card, not a vanity project, real revenue. What I love most is the clarity and confidence you get from following his system. You don't need a giant list. You don't need to go viral. You need a smart process, intentional outreach, and the guts to treat your book like the business asset it is. If you're serious about making your book work for you, get this book, study it, use it, and then thank Robbie when the reviews, sales, and clients start rolling in. I was like, oh,
That's
it's
a good
like,
review.
boom. I'm like kind of bummed that I'm already at the point where, the layouts, everything's been done, because that's a great editorial review.
Yeah.
I'm thinking I'm going to ask him. Here's a little tip. You can always ask someone like that, can I list your book in the editorial review section of Amazon? Because I want to highlight it there as well. But how sweet is he to put that out there? And then I
That's
have
a good
one
one.
more, and this is from Jen T. Grace, who is a publisher. She owns Publish Your Purpose. She's also an author, has a book called Publish Your Purpose. And she knows a lot. This is like her area of expertise. And she says, as someone who has guided hundreds of authors through book launches, I understand the mechanics, but Robbie offers here is structure, clarity, and repeatability. Launch Your Book distills best practices into a process that authors can actually follow without gimmicks or fluff. It's a professional grade roadmap for turning a book into a strategic business asset. This is the resource I'll be pointing clients to from now on. So I'm
Nice.
like,
We love Jen.
hey. So she's one of our BizBook Pub Hub partners as well. And so that's another great resource that came out of all of this in the last year and a half, is this amazing network of a couple dozen um, basically experts that support entrepreneurs through writing, editing, publishing, launching, and marketing their book. We also have a twice a week podcast where I interview these experts, and I have author panels. The authors signed up for my Kindle flash sale campaigns that I hold 3 times a year. And there's a free virtual networking event every month. So lots of great resources. bizbookpubhub.com if people want to check that out. And I think you might have a couple more questions for me. I don't.
Yeah. How are you supporting launch team members to follow through with reviews?
Here's the thing. So again, I said I hope the people who sign up for my launch team for a book about book launches like will be a little more like with it. But here's like, life's busy, and it's a small to do item on their list, but it's like a big request on my part because I need it to happen, right? Like it's going to be a big outcome for me, even though it's not that it's writing 2 or 3 sentences should not stress anyone out. This is not a 4th grade book report. So you really have to you can't just ask once. If you ask once, maybe 1 out of 10 people will actually follow through and write a review on Amazon. It's just very. In fact, I want everyone to think about the last time they wrote a review. Peya, when's the last time you wrote a review for something? Can you think of it? And here's the real question: were you happy, and that's why you wrote a review, or were you mad, and that's why you wrote the review?
I actually was happy,
That's good
and
news.
it was like 2 weeks ago.
Awesome.
But only, to be fair, only because I work with you do I do that. It's only a process now because I work with
Yeah, it's I've asked like randomly people this question, and it's now I just
you.
incorporated as part of the training that I do. In fact, this afternoon, I'm offering a training called Turn Your Book into a Business Asset for my launch team members. And if you want to join us or see the replay, just put the word launch in the comments below and I'll get you the details to join the launch team, and put party if you just want to come to the party. That's cool. But I think that most people are not in the habit of writing reviews. Like, it's just not a thing we do. And when we are called to do it, it's because we're really
We're
upset about
complaining.
something.
Yeah.
That's what gets us to be like, this company messed things up. Yet, more than 90% of buyers check reviews before making a purchase. Like, that's what studies have shown. So that means a very tiny percentage of people have this outsized influence. So I want to do everything I can to increase the number of people who leave a review. And
Mhm.
so giving them the advanced reader copy, giving them a specific amount of time, just a couple of weeks to read it and write a 2 or 3 sentence review, giving them some prompts to respond to, sending them some nudges and reminders, and being helpful resource as they need it. Separating out writing the review from publishing it on Amazon, all of those, it's very, very intentional. And most authors who are aware of the fact that they should ask for reviews focus on getting reviews from friends and family and things like that. And the problem is those people are the least likely to write a review because they don't really understand what you do. They don't need the thing you're selling. They don't know anyone else who does, and they think it's great that you're an author, but they don't really understand why reviews are important, and they're not in the habit of writing reviews. So really, it's like an uphill battle to get reviews. And I actually met with someone who wanted to talk about relaunching a book, and I was kind of surprised because it had 32, 34 reviews, written reviews, not just the ratings, on Amazon. So I was like, she's like, "Oh, I'm not getting business from this." I'm thinking, well, she must have some prospects and referral partners in that list of 30 some odd people. And she said, "Oh, no, my friend." I was like, "How did you get these reviews?" She said, "Well, my friends and family came through for me." I was like, your friends and family are not helping you build a pipeline, which I think is the last question we were going to talk about, is like turning this into a pipeline. But I can't
Right.
remember how you phrased it.
Uh, in your book, you talk about turning your book into a business asset. So how are you modeling that right now?
Exactly. I mean, I think earlier I mentioned there's a problem that your prospects know they have and they're willing to admit. And in this instance, the problem is that they know that they worked really hard on a book and they wanted to succeed. Like, what they call success might not be what I call success, but they're looking for signs of success. And ultimately, if they're an entrepreneur who wrote a book to grow their business, speaking, coaching, consulting, they want that outcome to be more revenue in their bank. And like, that's true success. That's not vanity. That's real numbers, not vanity numbers. And so they know the problem is they've got to figure out how to take this book and make it into a business asset. Like, you need to be useful. So part of what you do in a book is you've got to give people enough of your process and your reasoning behind your process for them to think, oh, this makes sense. And then it's up to them whether they want to DIY and like fill in the gaps that are in the book and just do it themselves, or do they want to work with you? And so I gave a lot of information. You and I were talking about this the other day. I give a lot of information away really freely,
Yes.
but there are things in the book and the bonus content that are less than what I give my clients, right? So, like in the bonus content, you get a draft of or a template of a welcome, an invitation email that you would send to your launch team members. But when I work with people one on one, like we have a template for every single email you would send and all the variations. Um, I give you a sense of the timeline, but when I sit with you, I walk through like what's happened in your life, what do we have to work around in order to make this work. Um, and then of course, like I'm ongoing coaching, and there's an implementation option you can work with me on, and I have a whole online program, and like so there's a lot more that I'm helping people do. And so the business case for this for me is that I'm been meeting with I don't even know, dozens, 100 plus people for 30 minutes. It's a complimentary 30-minute book launch brainstorming call. And I don't care whether people have started working on the book, published the book, anywhere in between. And it's those conversations that help me figure out what people needed in the book. So a lot of that was research calls. And that led to a better outcome. So I think a few answers to the question is like, write the book people need with a very particular audience in mind, and give them enough so that they could see the possibility of success following your process, but also can understand that there's a reason to maybe hire the person who wrote it, because that's the person who could help you actualize it and make it a reality. So um, I'm pretty psyched to have created this, and more to come. I mean, we're not even in like the public phase of the launch really. There's still a chance for people to jump in to join the launch team, so they could just write the word launch below, and I'll get you the details, the advanced reader copy, and all of the prompts. And if you are a little stressed for time and you just want to come to the party July 9th, just comment party and I will get you those details as well. I want to meet people where they are. That's really important to me. I don't know, no stress, people. I understand life is a lot going on right now. But I'm so appreciative of the people who've signed up to join my launch team. And I wanted to bring you on here, Peya, because I'm very intimately involved in the actual day-to-day of the launch part. Like, a lot of it's managing spreadsheets. It's a lot of nuance, little details, mishigas, I might even call it. So it's a lot of little pieces, but my business still has to run. And fortunately, 5 years in, you have been managing the operations of my business beautifully. And we meet 3 times a week, mostly for little quick check-ins, but we have a longer call on Mondays, and we do all of our planning. And that's how we're able to release a podcast twice a week, which by itself is a job. Like,
Yeah.
like that alone could be a whole bunch of work. But what you realize at some point as a business owner is your job is not to be a content creator, it's to serve your clients. So if you're not serving clients, if you don't have clients to serve, then you have to work on the pipeline. And the content piece is just one part of that. It's not the only thing you do. You have to find ways to get people like on a call with you, to do a research call or do a strategy session or something like that. And the process of writing a book could be a great way to start doing that by collecting those stories. And I've had clients where I've said, would you consider writing a book in a couple of years? Well, why don't you spend the next year reaching out to prospects to have conversations? And those conversations almost always lead somewhere down to new revenue, even before the book comes out. So I just want to wish everyone well. And thank you, Peya, for keeping the lights on. uh, any thoughts you want to share about your part in all of this? Like, the humming of the business side this is sort of a launch season again.
I think, I mean, it's been so much fun watching you do this process again and how much you have learned from when we were doing small list, big results to now. It's like the process has reinvented itself
Mm,
3 times over. So that has been really fun and interesting, and, I've helped on some of your client launches too, and
mm,
been part of that, like, brainstorming and figuring things out and the parts that you need, and just even if I'm not helping on the actual client work, I'm helping behind the scenes, like, helping you figure things out and, just listening to what needs to happen. So that has opened my eyes too to what authors need, and I think it's just interesting to see and hear. And I think, I don't know, it's been fun, but also I think there's a level of trust that you have and that we have built over these almost 6 years where you can really focus on your books and really go, focus on your clients. And there's a freedom that you have to do that because you know that I'm handling your business. There's
mhm.
nothing that's falling apart. There's nothing that's on fire. And I think, like, people are always like, no, I can do this by myself. Yes, of course you can, because you're smart and you're capable and you absolutely could. But why would you do that to yourself? Like, why
Yeah,
not have someone that you trust so that you could throw yourself headfirst into something
I
that you
agree.
really want to do?
It's like, doing the thing that is, like, uniquely your role. Like, for me, like, the ideation, some of the execution, like, that's purely me. It's like why I'm here, right?
Yeah.
And then, sure, I did all the things you're tasked to do in any given week, I've done. In fact, recently, you had, some things change in your schedule last minute, and I was like, "Oh, I know how to publish a podcast." I hadn't done it in, like, 5 years. Okay, yeah, like, but
Right.
I was like, "But I don't never wanna feel like I can't do something in my
Right.
business." But that's different from being the person who's, like, clicking all the buttons every time because, one, you just become so much more efficient with repetition and batching your time. Like, we talk all the time, my word of the year is efficiency. So, like, we're always talking about how to make things more smooth, and if something's not working for us, how do we, like, change that or
Right.
scrap it for now or, trial something differently.
Mhm.
So I love the creativity. Like, no one week is the same as the week before, and that is really fun. And just, you joined me in my business when I just was like looking for someone to do a little research for me, on a project that died like a month later because the pandemic came.
Right.
And here we are, like from February of 2020, to now. Wow, that's
Yeah.
wild. Yeah.
Yeah.
Good stuff. So again, folks, if you would like to learn about joining the launch team for Launch Your Book, An Entrepreneur's Guide to Reviews that Drive Revenue, write the word launch in the comments. If you are a little stressed for time in the next few weeks and you just want to come to the party, we've got a great lineup of special guests. Just write the word party below and I will get you the details for that. And we're going to pop off because I actually have a LinkedIn newsletter that just came out. So we're going to go check out how that's going and give it a little love. Look for it because I'm part of this really cool summit. I don't do a lot of summits, so you know it's a good one. It's something about influence and how we go beyond vanity metrics, which is a lot of what we talked about today. So thank you so much for joining me, Peya, on my live stream. And hello to everyone who's watching.